Born and raised in Idaho. I lived there until I was about 17, and then I ran away to Seattle on I graduated high school early. I was just working like a dead-end job, really. I mean, I was just serving at a restaurant, going out to bars a little too often. And my dad had called me and asked, he said, well, what are your plans and what are you gonna do? And I laughed at him, and I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I don't know what I want to do. I'm gonna do something though. And he's like, well, why don't you go to welding school? I laughed. No, I didn't know even what welding was. He said, well, just think about it. And I thought about it for probably a year or so. And I ended up, plans changed, and I moved to Florida. It just so happened I was in the right place at the right time in Jacksonville, and Googled Tulsa and seen commercials and had great reviews. And I called a recruiter and went in for an interview and signed up that day. When I first signed into school, I think there's probably 300 to 500 students in the entire shop, but out of 300 guys, there's 5 girls. Everybody wants to see what you're doing, everybody wants to see how you're doing, and I hung a sign with MIG wire from one end of my booth to the other end of the booth, and it said, do not disturb. I've always been a hands-on person. I feel like I'm a hands-on learner, and so the hands-on is what helped me through school. And there was a little bit of classroom time with homework and stuff, but the hands-on, I knew it was only 4 days of hands-on, 1 day of classroom, because I could not sit in a classroom for 5 days a week. My favorite experience about Tulsa Welding School was when we started learning how to use a torch. Welding was fun, but using a torch and playing with fire was even funner. Learning how to cut different angles and even to be able to see how the molten metal builds up. I mean, it was just really cool. So that's probably my favorite. I always wanted to be the best, and I always had to work harder to be the best. Learn different positions. I mean, you're always going to do a different position weld, and that's another thing from going from school is at school they would put me in a box and have to practice with a mirror, and I thought these instructors were crazy, and they're you're going to want to learn this. Sure enough, the first couple jobs I was on, I was up in an aerial lift, and they said, Kayla, can you go make that weld? And it was up against a wall. I mean, I had been so used to fitting pipe with the same gap every time. On top had an 1/8 inch gap, and on the bottom was a 1/4 inch. Can you just close that up? I mean, I had to learn. But even when I go on different jobs, every job is so different. And so I'm continuously learning. I remember the first time I walked on the job site too. I was holding a welding hood, and I had gone up to my boss. They said this is my foreman, and this is who I needed to talk to. And I said, hey, where do I need to sign in, or what do I do? And he said, oh, well, the fire watches are over there. And I was like, I'm not a fire watch. He's like, oh, well, the hole watches are over there. I was like, he's like, are you our new tool room lady? I'm like, no, I'm a welder. I have a welding hood. So I am grateful for the income I've been able to provide for my family. When I first got out of school, I was wild with my money because I was, fresh out of school making so much money I didn't know what to do. I made $30 an hour, and it was $140 per diem. And we were working 7/12. So that first paycheck was $3,400. And I was like, whew, what do I do with all this? And I put some away, I bought some furniture, and I went on vacation. I went down to the Keys. I eventually settled down and started investing my money and saving my money, and it's really paid off. I own my own home, I have my own vehicles, I have my own camper, my 4-wheelers, my toys, my hunting clubs. I mean, I travel 4 months out of the year for archery. I mean, who can afford to travel that often? I'm very grateful for me and my husband to have really great careers, because I am able to be a co-breadwinner in our family, and so we are able to live in a lifestyle outside of most people's budget, and I'm grateful for it. My career goes with me wherever I want to go. I can get a job anywhere, but my career follows me. I kind of work for myself kind of thing. I can always find a job, I can always make money, and if I want to work 8 months out of the year, then I can work 8 months out of the year. If I want to work 12 months out of the year and less hours, then I can do that too. I mean, it's just really has been great for me to be more flexible, especially because I love my career, but my family's more important to me. I like to go to work and work hard, but I like to leave work at work and come home and function outside of work, and I'm able to do that. And I just don't feel like I would have gotten or lived the lifestyle that I did without Tulsa Welding School. I would have never gotten into this industry. I would have never had the tools that I needed to succeed, and I'm just so grateful. women can do it and we're better at it. And I just would encourage any female, if you even are interested, to just jump in. If I can do it, you can do it too. And you'll enjoy it. And why not do something that you love? I mean, I think that's so important. If you are doing something that you love, then how can you consider it work? You know, I have to thank my dad for even giving me the idea of welding, introducing me to the welding. I have to thank Tulsa Welding School for teaching me what welding was and how to do it and the tools to succeed in my career. And now I have a great family and a career, and I'm just so grateful. My name's Kayla Johnson, and I'm proud to be a Tulsa Welding School graduate.